Good day, good day, good day. I'm checking in. I hope all of you are having a great weekend. Can you hear me all loud and clear? If you can, just put a one or something in the chat just to make sure that I can hear you guys or you guys can hear me. Sometimes when we do these wonderful lives, everything technical goes up in flames, but just let me know you're out there. It is so good to be here, and I'm so glad that some of you could jump in on the live with me and join in for this morning's chat. Welcome to All for Success. For those of you who might be a little unfamiliar with this channel, we try to do and chit chat about all things a little bit, all things a little bit, and all things a lot. And we definitely keep a positive viewpoint and a positive, I would say, mentality towards all things Sussex. I just enjoy watching some of the growth of that family um, and how they have maneuvered through many of their challenges throughout their young married life. And of course, my perspective, I get to have the perspective of a parent of adult children. So I'm always looking at things and sort of analyzing it, if you would call it analyzing, but making commentary on it from the point of view of a parent of adult children. So I like to think of myself as Doria's voice. Although Doria is very good about keeping herself very busy in the world that she's in, which is art and fundraising and charity. But if I were to be speaking sort of the thoughts in the background of how a parent feels when they see their children um, maneuvering through life's challenges, how that makes us maneuver through ours. So, with that being the topic point of view, again, welcome everybody to All for Success. Now, don't forget, folks, what is one of the main reasons that we like to have this chat going? Let's see if I can find my table here. We like to have this chat going along because one of the fun things we do is we like to motivate each other to try to stay on the fitness train. Once again, as we get a little bit older, we have to really push ourselves to keep walking or biking or doing aerobics or yoga or whatever it is that you do physically. We like to encourage each other to keep doing it. So I usually put in the chat, and I'm going to let you know that I did. I'm putting in here as I'm talking, right? So I did twice this week, right? I walked 2 miles twice this week. So, uh, and I'm going to type that in 2 miles. So I want to make sure I get mine on record. And then I went to the gym 2 days also. So you guys, you need to put in the chat some of your accomplishments for the week, and that will help motivate some of the rest of us to get out there and keep doing some of the same things. I would like to let you know I started using this back machine, but I've got to read a little bit about it to make sure that I'm not causing myself any damage in working out with it. It's supposed to help actually strengthen the lower back, and that is where my main problems are, is in my lower back. And I'm trying to avoid doing another chiropractic visit, but who knows? I may have to at some point. So here we go. Let's jump in because I told you guys I'm not going to keep you out here all day, every day, and blathering on about a whole bunch of nonsense. I want to have fun with the talks. I hope you've gotten an idea of the way that I kind of lean into what I'm discussing, and then how sometimes I might refer to other elements Okay. Okay. So let's see. Are we back online yet? I think I'm having a slight difficulty in my sound quality. So let's see. Let's see if I can get that back online. Is anyone out there able to hear me now? Let's see what we got. Okay, how am I doing now? Am I back on the slideshow? Can you hear me now? Okay, let's see. How about now? Am I coming through loud and clear yet? I'm hoping that you guys can hear me. I don't know yet. I didn't expect to have these problems. So let's see if we can get back on task. Okay. Let's see. Oh no. Move from seeing here. Okay. Okay. How about now? How about now? Okay. How about now? Okay. So I guess I'm going to have to just sort of start back over again. Okay. Because seems like I must have had some type of a sound check problem. I am so sorry about that. But I hope you all had a chance to get your coffee ready in the moment of that debacle. So, anyway, let me start back over. And I know I was saying a whole bunch of stuff, but since I've wasted so much of your time with my sound failures, let's get back on here. Fast forward down to the end of your speakers so that you can definitely hear me again. So let's go back and let's get back to where we were. So once again, keep your fitness up, keep your health going, and don't forget that as you are maintaining your own health, that is how you will maintain the ability to support the Sussex family. Again, sometimes it's draining as you are trying to support other people. You don't want to be physically or mentally drained and sometimes depressed by what you read and things that you see. And so, what you want to do is to be able to pick yourself up and stay focused and stay healthy so that you can support other people. So, what I was saying, and I was probably talking for about 10 minutes to no one, is in order to support others, you need to stay as healthy as you possibly can. Okay? So, with that being said, let me go back to where we were from that. So, I just wanted to show some short slides of older pictures of Megan when she was much younger. And she was on that show, Deal or No Deal. And look how upbeat and perky she is and how excited she was to be getting herself going on her show. And she was doing a great job. That's how she kept her hair blowing in the wind. And we all would be so lucky to look so wonderfully glamorous and professional in this environment. And she did a great job doing that. So, of course, if you guys are back online and you can hear me, once again, just drop a one in the chat so we know you're there. Okay. So that's her on Deal or No Deal. And I always want to stress the fact that looking at her, and she would be like growing up, and I'm sure her mom would be so proud of the work that she is doing. So next we have this two photos here is when she was also One is when she was still acting on different shows, and this is in 2014. And the other one is what we all saw when they went to that wonderful convention down in New York, and when they had the situation with the, was it a car chase or was it not a car chase? Is it a car chase or is it not a car chase situation? And so that took on a life of its own and just drove people nuts. And so she's in this beautiful gold lame dress. And so everyone was all um, glimmer, I guess. People were talking all about how wonderful she looked in that because she hadn't been seen for a little while as far as public speaking and engagements. And so that was wonderful, and it really turned out well as far as how she was dressed. Then we have what is current. Okay, so this is when she was on the red carpet as a welcome to the wonderful women's gala, and so she actually was in attendance at that, and it was really beautiful. She was out there, and people were taking pictures, and she looked really wonderful. Now there was a little bit of a controversy, I believe, last week over how a photo looked of her that was snapped with her just kind of meeting and greeting some people in the film. And it was probably because the photo itself was not a professional photo. But this is the kind of thing that you definitely have to keep your eye on, because if those types of things show up, we have to be, again, we have to, I'm only going to be podcasting actually what, once a week. I'm generally not coming online but about once a week. So even when something happens very quickly, I you're not going to hear a very quick reaction to it from me because I'm not posting until the end of the week. But there are some people who are after the minute. I mean, as soon as they see something in the online world, or if they see something that is newsworthy, they are immediately making commentary on it. And I would say, you really need to not, you don't have to, but I'm the one that's more cautious of that. I would tend to sit back and wait and see if this story changes or if there's something about the story that needs to be modified. And so, of course, that's what happened with the photo. Many people looked at the photo and thought, okay, there's someone who put out a photo and they may have messed with it to make it look as bad as possible. And then there's someone who had the photo and they said, well, it's also possible that the photo itself may have just been a like an individual who took it with a phone, and it wasn't really like a high end super cameraed photo to flatter the way you look. So that was going on, and that really did cause some people some real distasteful comments online. So again, let's try your best, if you can, to not get drawn down into the weeds of that, and try to stay in the place of supporting the Sussex family where you can, if you're interested in any of the things that they do in Archwell. I was really taken by what they did with Uvalde, so I donated to that cause. Many people are donating to other causes that they find speak to them. So if that's where your interests lie, then that's, I think, the proper thing to do. Where we have to be a little bit less drawn in is when there is a back and forth type of conflict that will probably emotionally upset you. So I caution folks who get too involved at that level. Take a step back and observe what's going on and give it all a minute to digress. So here's what I was going to kind of focus on more in my um, talk for today. I was more interested in looking at the comparisons of how the news headlines, because I like to always go back to this approach of who exactly is trying to influence you, and what is that entity or organization trying to make you think. Because here we are now in a place when we're dealing with when we are working in the world of online media, television media, and in some cases, radio, or the term media overall, you have to be aware and you have to be mindful of the fact that these um, entities exist for a reason. Okay, so for example, the movie business exists because they make movies, and when they make movies, they make money. Okay, you have to understand that television and television shows exist because they also make money. Now, commercials are doing exactly what they're telling you. They are throwing at you a lot of products that they want you to buy so that they make money. I hope you all are following my theme, right? That there is no element in this environment that exists for any other purpose than to make money. Okay, so that is how I am viewing some of the things that I see, and how, not for an explanation, but sometimes you understand the cause. Okay, so let's look at some of these online media entities, but they exist also in some cases in paper. So you have a comparison of um, headlines, for example, that are from these various news sources. So we have something from the New York Post, we have something here from like Yahoo News, and then you have Mirror, and then you have the entertainment pages, which is called Page Six. And let's look at how they have altered their headlines de- depending on how they would like for you to look at the story, or how they would like for you to see the topics of the story. So, for example, the New York Post, this top one, and this is an online source. So they have on here Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are desperate to maintain royal connections for money. All right, that's their headline. You drop down to the next headline: Prince Harry and Meghan mending fences with King Charles with warm, and I don't have the whole thing, but basically like a warm outreach. Then you jump over here to the Mirror. Prince Harry and King Charles due to speak again next week after a landmark supposed phone call. And then here's Page Six. Prince Harry, Meghan Markle had a turning point phone call with King Charles. Okay, now, here's the key thing in all of these, right? First of all, they wanted to get your attention because they want everyone in the squad world to think, oh my goodness, it's Prince Harry and King Charles. Are they becoming, are they mending fences, or are they getting back as far as on talking terms? So that is the driving force of all of these articles, right? And if you notice, most of the articles are trying to give a perception, just in case this just in case this doesn't work out or it didn't happen. The just in case is that Harry and Meghan are to blame for any problem with the phone call, or the reason for the phone call is that they are doing something nefarious, right? Like connections for money, right? This couple right now, it would appear, is about worth $40 million. Just this is just a ballpark figure, right? And they still have an inheritance that they haven't touched. So we're not looking at people right now who aren't earning a living. All right. Now they've got lawsuits that are ongoing, and those things are costly. I don't know about you, but if I were any of them, anytime I were involved in a lawsuit, I would want no less than 20 million. Okay, but hey, they're trying to be big about it. But anyway, back to the headlines, because I want us to focus on how the media operates, how the headlines work, and where to not make sure you don't give your energy to these fake, um, for lack of a better term. I don't want to say fake because you know where that comes from. But for lack of a better term, I don't want you to give your energy over to these leading perceptions and storylines because they are only there. These things are here to do what? Well, we just discussed it, to make money. And the way that these people here make money is purchasing. You, one, purchase their newspaper, or two, you are purchasing whatever is being advertised with their newspaper, or you are buying from the people who support the newspapers and these articles and these writers. These writers are basically giant commercials. Okay. So you have to keep that in mind. And the key here is all of these headlines are not coming from any of the sources, at least not that we can tell. Right. For example, there is no posting on the Archwell website saying, "Oh, and I wish my father a happy 75th birthday from Harry, from Prince Harry." You haven't seen that. However, all of these sources are telling you that they made a call, that they talked to each other. One one report went so far as to talk about a video of the children singing happy birthday. And everyone was like, "What? Where did you get that from?" But anyway, we're supposed to believe that if this information is not true, or if this information is leaked, then you're supposed to take away from that when you read these articles that it's Harry and Meghan that either made it up or leaked the information. Okay, so put a pin in that thought. Put a pin in that thought. And then we're going to, when you put a pin in that thought, you're going to ask yourself, and just out loud, why would Harry and Meghan do that? What would be their reason for leaking to the media that they called King Charles? How would this help them? But anyway, that's what the newspapers want you to believe. That's what they want you to ingest. Okay, so here's another batch of headlines. So let's look at the comparison of these. Okay, so now we have to do anything that we can do, right, to somewhat bring down any impact that she might have, or we have to always try to spread a film of negativity that there's something wrong with what she does. Okay, so Meghan Markle mingles with Hollywood royalty. Now we're going to add amid controversy over the new Omid Scobie book. Okay, so we had to throw in that negative lean. We can't just have an article, Meghan Markle attended, blah, blah, blah. Can't do that. Now let's see how the Mail put their twist in it. Meghan Markle teases a Hollywood comeback as she poses with top execs. Okay, once again, teases a Hollywood comeback. What are they talking about? Where she hasn't gone anywhere. But they want you to have in your mind that she's out of something, Hollywood, and that she's trying to get back in to make a comeback, right? Well, she's not out of it. These actors and actresses are employees. They carry union cards. They're SAG and AFTRA. They're already members of those unions. So there is no, once you remember, there is no out and back. You're an actress. That's what you are. Okay. But here we go, Yahoo. Now, Yahoo is a little weird. Meghan Markle teases her upcoming Hollywood projects. And I think she made a comment too when she was being interviewed really quickly. And the comment was something like, "Oh, well, we got a couple of things that we're working on and we'll, let you know as they come along." Anyway, so something like that. That kind of is somewhat mild. And then the Independent states Meghan Markle says that she's thrilled about a return to Hollywood. Okay, something like that was said, that she was thrilled to be working and doing different things and working on several projects, but not specific. But of course, what do they have to have you think? They have to have you think that there's something in this article that you're going to read that is going to tell you what they're going to do next. So this again harkens back to these stories are being written by people about what they think and how they interpret what Harry and Meghan are going to do. In the meantime, on the other side of the planet, they just simply make up stuff. They just run out and have things in their newspapers, and you're left wondering, where in the world did they get that story? The latest one was, which was absolutely blatant, where they said Prince Harry was going to received an invitation to attend his father's birthday. And then Harry, it was interesting that this happened, but that a spokesperson actually came out and said, no, he didn't receive an invitation. And we don't know why you are saying that. So that was interesting. And it makes you wonder, why in the world, and let's, why in the world is the UK tabloid media, why are they central in constantly saying what Harry will or will not be doing? You have to, again, you have to ask this question to yourself. Why is the UK tabloid media on a daily basis telling us what Harry or Meghan is thinking and doing? Well, what did we discuss? Money. When they put that on the cover of their magazine, it makes a couple of dollars. And I put the only reason I put this in here is this is the Balmoral estate, okay? And this Balmoral estate is very expensive. It's in the hundreds of millions of dollars worth of land and everything around it, and the cost of upkeep, okay? This belonged to the Queen, and I'm assuming that it currently belongs to the King at the moment. But the point is, Harry is not going to be moving into this as far as we are aware, right? And as far as we are aware, this was never going to be uh, a domicile that belonged to Harry. So their continuous attempt to make us believe that Harry somehow thinks that if he goes back to the UK and participates in everything that the royal family has going on, that he's somehow going to gain some of this stuff. Well, the thing is, he's not. Not because he's not in the line of succession. Not like that, right? He would have to actually be the holder of the line of succession, right? So they keep trying to say that there's the reason he wants this and he wants that, when it is almost extremely obvious that he is not interested in these things, that he is not running towards these things. But for whatever reason, it makes money, it sells papers, it sells clicks whenever there is an article that shows up stating this is something that Harry is trying to get back to, or that Harry is snubbing every bit of it. One of the two positions would be closer to the correct one, right? So the printed articles and the clickbait articles, they are writing both sides of the story, just in case they get it right either way. They don't care if it's wrong out there. Then they'll write the opposite story, and then that story will be closer to correct. So if you notice, and again, pay attention to the media, don't get yourself caught up in the argument that they're trying to make you think they're having. They're just simply printing constant storylines and making them up just in case they might be correct. They're playing like a game of roulette, right? So next week's stories. Now, then this is a fun thing, and I'm going to try to figure out how to make this really fun. So he didn't attend the remembrance with them at Balmoral when for the Queen's remembrance. He actually, Prince Harry actually was traveling separate So he actually went to the church, said his prayers or whatever, and, honored the queen and her passing. And then he went on to evict us. Okay, so at first they said he was going to, maybe he was going to come to Balmoral with everyone else in the remembrance ceremonies or whatever. Well, no, he wasn't. Okay, so then they had to backtrack on that. Then the next stunt, this one is, oh, well, the king invited him to come and have an intimate time to celebrate his birthday, his 75th birthday. And he turned down the invitation. Well, Harry was like, didn't get an invitation, don't know what you're talking about. He actually responded to that. Okay. Now the next one. Now now the next thing that's going to come up, right, is I'm certain maybe a Thanksgiving family. No, that's right. They wouldn't do that because that's a US thing. But okay, maybe Christmas. So I need everyone to gear up and get ready because I'm going to run a contest because there's going to be stories like they're going to reach out and try to contact the royal family during the holidays. And then there's going to be an equal story that Harry and Meghan are going to go to wherever, Aspen or somewhere else, or to the islands. And of course, they're going to throw in that they flew on a private jet, or they're going to throw in and they rode the train and it was expensive, or, oh, why are they in an SUV? Because it costs a lot of money. So they're going to throw those things out there. And then on the other side, they'll print the story of they were invited to the Christmas party, but they just refused to come. So this is what's going to be coming up. So we're going to try to play a game called, guess the headline. And this is what they are all about. But for the sake of the news stories and the news editors and the papers and the online click, the only reason they do this is for the money. They don't care, not one way. They don't care at all about what is going on or isn't. They're just looking at how much money does it make if I put this out there. All right. So I'm going to start to wrap it up by saying to you guys, all right, just so you know, I forgot to put it on here, but I wanted to mention it. The Crown, I think they said the last season, that is currently on Netflix right now. A few people have watched it. They've given a few little tidbits about how it looks and how it's going to be portraying. Mainly, people are looking at how they are going to portray Diana in her last days. And they're also portraying a few things, I think, about the relationship between Camilla and the king. So we're looking forward to see how Netflix is going to handle this topic because, of course, nowadays everyone is treading very carefully because they don't want to be overtly offensive to the king, but it's very difficult if you actually tell the truth, right? If you tell the truth of who they are, it is going to be offensive. But if you kind of like step back and try to smooth over it, then you might run into less of an offensive game. Again, back to the media stories. You saw the stories about King Charles' visit to Kenya. On one page, it was brilliant. He did great. The speech was wonderful. And then on another page, it was um, the whole visit was a fiasco. There were pictures of Camilla looking like, I don't know, like she was on the run. And then she was about to go incognito, hunkered down in a vehicle. So all of these stories were coming up at the same time. Again, bottom line, because they make money. So the Crown is out. Now, that's out right now. So if you have time, you want to check it out, I know I'll probably start watching it over the weekend and through the holidays. But what's coming up, and put a pin in this, is Omid Scobie. He's the author of the new book called Endgame. And that book is supposed to be fully released about the 28th of November, so right after Thanksgiving. Now, he has released several little pieces and parts from the book that are specifically about Prince Harry's relationship to the family. And man, people do not like it because he is talking about how the family actually treated Harry and how they interacted with him under certain circumstances. And the Queen's death and the timing of the announcement and him not being with the family at the same time are all a part of that book. And Omid Scobie, just to let you know, to warn you, he writes like he's doing a research paper. So he is going to specify dates and times, when something happened, what time the next thing happened, and he's going to go down the line like a research paper. But it's interesting that he is writing about this in his book because when she passed, when the Queen actually passed, I had this really bizarre feeling. It was really odd to me. When they said Harry was still on his way, but yet they had announced publicly that the Queen actually had passed, I actually felt at that moment that they did that on purpose, that they purposely made that announcement before he got there. And I thought to myself, how could a family, I was just thinking to myself, no matter how angry, at least, me as a low level peon, I was thinking, could I become so angry with a person that I would actually go out of my way to try to do things to make them as sad as possible, to hurt them like that? I was trying to think, what could a family member do to me that would make me do little things like that to just devastate them emotionally? And I'll be honest with you, as angry as my family has made me in the past and present and future, kids, sisters, brothers, all that, as as much as that has happened in real life, right? I can't think of anything that would make me go out of my way to see if I could devastate a family member, right? But that's kind of how they operate. Okay, so with that being said, I just wanted to let you all know that the 28th, his book is coming out. So if you have time and you're interested, a lot of people are going to be reading that, and a lot of people are going to be drawing analysis from it. So here's what we're going to look at. Now, I want you all to keep your eyes open for these things, right? Is it the truth or is it trash, right? Either way, for the newspapers, they earn money. Lastly, always ask yourself why. Why would the royal family be allowing lies to be printed in their name? We need to know why. And here's my thoughts. Probably because they get a kickback from the money, but we don't know. Well, that's just something I think. Also, how often should our favorites dispute the claims? Like, I hear some squatties. It's so funny. I hear some of the some of the YouTubers that I love to listen to. Baron being one, Royal Sussex, Duchess of Success is another. Love listening to them. VS Royalty, fabulous, fabulous. And then, of course, every now and then I'll listen to one of the really funny ones is Tissa Tells. She's hilarious. But they are great, and I hope one day that my channel becomes more interesting like theirs, and that I can do the flair that they have. But they often will say they don't, they go in different directions on whether they think Harry should come out every single time and just say, you know what, they're lying. Oh, you know what, that's a lie. You know what, that didn't happen. And I wonder, should our faves always dispute it, or should they do again what the royals claim they do, which is just say nothing at all? And so we wonder, because personally, I think if it's actually coming from the royal household, I would dispute it every single time. Now, if it was just stuff made up in the newspapers, well, I would ignore that completely. But anytime, if there was ever an article that came out and it said the royal family said or the royal firm puts out, then I would dispute that every single time. But hey, that's just me. So I wonder, you let me know, would you dispute it or would you just let it ride? And then lastly, folks, before I get going, remember, navigate this online world. Please navigate it with care, because it is getting ready to multiply in fakeness. It is about to double up in the ability to put out things that you think are real and you think are actually supported, but in fact, they are not. So, you're going to see pictures that aren't the actual pictures. You're going to see things that are doctored. You're going to hear voiceovers that are not quite accurate. You're going to hear voiceovers that are not the actual people. There is the ability now to manufacture almost anything imaginable. And believe me, in this online world, people are going to do just that. So I thank you all. Thank you again. Oh, and I forgot to tell you all once again in the middle of this, please like, share, and subscribe. Please like, share, and subscribe. And always invite some other friends who might be interested in listening in. I'm thinking about looking into having a fan base presence. I don't know if any of you are familiar with fan base. I'm going to leave some info maybe in the community to tell you about it. I'm going to try to join on the fan base route and see how that works. Some people like it. I'm going to invite some of you when I get that all up and going. And Fanbase, the forum, is more like a conference call. So instead of just a live presentation, it's more interaction, question and answer. You can just chit chat like you're on a big conference call. So I'm thinking about doing maybe 1 or 2 days of that and see if any of you are interested. Um, and it's definitely a new social media platform, and it's going to be slowly growing. They have a specific kind of it's a lot of musicians and artists that like that site. So I'm going to see how that works. But anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there because I'll be inviting you to it. So please like, share, and subscribe. Keep up all of your fitness. And I want to thank each and every one of you who had the opportunity to tune in. And I want to say to you, thank you for coming. And please come back again and bring a friend. So, with that, we're going to say good day, and good day.